No success in the world can compensate for failure in the home. That's why Club Wealth was founded, to help driven, successful, and busy real estate agents like you double their business while building a strong, balanced home life. Join us each week as high-producing agents and team leaders share their stories and unpack the principles and systems they've used to double, triple, and even quadruple their business while enjoying greater quality of life. And now, here's the latest episode of Club Wealth TV.
What's happening, everybody? It's Michael Hellickson here with Club Wealth. I am so excited that we are on Club Wealth TV once again with my co-hosts Brian Curtis and Mike Bjorkman, a couple of rock stars. You guys know them. For those of you that don't know them, Brian Curtis is a stud out of Bentonville, Arkansas. He's running a big team over there. Brian and his team are consistently doing between 30 and 40 transactions a month. He's also my partner in Club Wealth Expansion Services, which means we run expansion teams for big agents all over the country. You may have heard of their expansion team, but you may not realize that we're actually the engine behind it. And Brian's the guy that runs all that. Mike Bjorkman, of course, out of Santa Clarita, California. Mike Bjorkman not only does $1.5 million in GCI on his team, which, by the way, he's completely out of production on, has somebody else that runs his team now, Tammy. Shout out to Tammy. And Mike also has an escrow company, has a property management company, and it's 4 real estate offices as well, and does very well on each one of those endeavors. So we're super excited that Mike and Brian are constantly here helping us out with Club Wealth TV. And today we've got Christina, I'm going to say freaking Griffin. Let me tell you, Christina Griffin from the Griffin Group is literally the #2 Coldwell banker agent worldwide. I mean, hey, that's saying something. This woman knows how to put transactions together, and she's going to be sharing with us today how she literally went from Lone Ranger, just her doing stuff, to all of a sudden now she's got 34 people on her team. And it sounds like we're on the verge of being over 40 people on the team. So super excited. Christina, welcome to Club Wealth TV. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Dude, super excited. So let's kick it off with this. I'm going to start off with the first question, and then I'm sure Mike and Brian will have a ton of questions for you. But let's start with this. When did you start selling real estate, and what got you interested in selling real estate, and how did you get that start?
My mother died when I was 9 of cancer, and my dad died when I was 18 in a boating accident. So I had to take custody of my sister. She was 16 years old. And my ex-husband had this brilliant idea. Your mom used to sell real estate. Why don't you? So I forgone and gave up my scholarships to go to University of Florida. And I've had my real estate license since I was 19 years old.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What a lot of responsibility for a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it creates the freedom. It allowed me to be able to immediately be able to take care of her.
So, okay, well, you say immediately. I mean, most people that get into real estate today, they don't have instant success. So, I mean, here you came into real estate, 19-year-old kid, got kids that you're responsible for, you had to take care of. What happened there? I mean, how did you start? How did you start putting transactions together right away?
I actually, until I was 21, I managed several large apartment communities. I had a owner that I interviewed with as a leasing position, and she believed in me right away and said, "I'm hiring you as my manager." And I did a full lease up and renovation on a 650 unit apartment community. And once that was fully rented, and through the entire process, I just was ready to just do something new and went into real estate.
Wow.
Traditional.
Wow. Guys, go ahead. I see you guys are chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I'm totally chomping at the bit. So, Christina, congratulations on your success, first of all. And one of the things I wanted to point out to America is that your success has definitely not gone to your head. A couple questions. I got in the business when I was 19 years old as well. And one of the things that I found out really quick was at that age, a lot of people that know you don't really trust you as much because you're kind of new in the business. And I know the viewers that watch Club Wealth TV, a lot of them are newer. Was there any particular activities prospecting wise that were maybe your 3 favorite when you got in? Did you do open houses? Was it door knocking? Was that property management? Did that bring in a bunch of leads for you? Can you describe a little bit about your first year or so in the business so some of the other agents can understand that process?
I actually, when I was 21, I had my daughter and immediately took a position for a local real estate investor who was an owner of a small real estate firm. And he immediately told me to just take messages of the buyers calling in on his properties. Well, needless to say, that didn't take very long. I was converting the first-time home buyers, ended up selling all of his properties and putting those buyers into other properties. So my specialty for the first year was working with investors, helping them find great deals, and then putting the first-time home buyers into the properties and helping them maximize their net. And we still do that today. The investor market is very strong in our area, and there's some amazing first-time home buyer programs like the Florida Bond and Hardest Hit that our team is heavy on marketing for.
Okay, so I want to back up to Mike's earlier comment about being young and in the business and having credibility. Brian, how you were a little more mature than 19, I'm assuming, when you got in the business, right?
I was. I don't know if I was more mature. I don't know if that's the right term, but I was older. So I think if I look back, I was about 30. And it's funny that you and I both keyed in on that, because actually that'd be my question for you, Christina, and I'll take it just to the little bit different level. We actually have on our team right now, I've got a 25-year-old, a 26-year-old. My son just got licensed and he's 19. So I would love to hear your advice for young people who are out advising people who are 20, 30, 40 years older than them, how you overcome that. And, because I'm telling them they need to be uber professional and be even more professional than I would expect it to be. But, what were those things that you did that helped you overcome? Because those are going to be some objections that people are going to have.
Well, finding a niche right away and being able to dominate the niche was what was something that helped me. My first year, I believe I made about $75,000, and then I made $100,000 every year after, and just kept growing and growing. But it was having that niche. So just getting really good at it. And mine was finding investors great deals. And that's still what I'm known for today. No matter what age you are, an investor does not care if that nets them a great profit margin. They're going to love it. And then once you create that loyalty that you're amazing at finding them deals, then they're going to let you list the properties after they get fixed up and help put first-time home buyers into the properties. So that was my niche at the time. But when I first got in the business, it was very big on, the no money, stated income, and it was very easy to get anybody into a amazing remodeled house. So I would run ads for first-time home buyers, and I found it's a huge important decision for them, but first-time home buyers, they're a little bit if you have a professionalism when you're talking to them and you know what you're talking about, they're not going to scrutinize as much what your age is, as well as investors. So that has been huge we have a 22-year-old agent on our team as well. And, she's fearless and door knocks. And, so it really, if you have that confidence level and you create a niche early on, it's not going to matter what age you are.
I'm going to jump in on that too, Christine, because I think you're absolutely right. It comes down to confidence level, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was selling real estate, I got into real estate while I was in high school and was the top listing agent at my office before I graduated. Why? Because I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do what I was doing, right? I was out taking listings at 8 and 10%. I had no idea that was unusual. It just seemed to make sense. I mean, geez, if I can just get them to pay me 8, I'd make more money, right? So why don't I just do that? Right? But, I think you're really hitting the nail on the head. And I come back to Ben Affleck in the movie Boiler Room, right? Where he says, act as if. And I think, a young kid coming into this business, oftentimes they act as if, because my golly, they're a teenager. They know better than everybody anyway, right? So it's, it's kind of one of those things where confidence wins the day. So I'm really glad you mentioned that. I hope everybody that's listening to this, especially if you're new in the business, understand confidence overcomes a lot of challenges. You just have to make sure that you exude that confidence, not arrogance, but borderline, like almost arrogance, right? Like I think about Mike Bjorkman. Now, Mike, I'm not saying you're arrogant, don't get me wrong, but what I am saying is that if you walk into a room, you own the room. Right? You're confident. You've got it. And I think that nowadays, too many agents, when they walk into a room, they're timid. They walk in and they're like, wow, I hope I get this listing. And gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get this listing, but I'm going to give it my best shot. It's like, no, man, you need to walk in like you're going to get that listing every freaking time, no matter what. Christina, thoughts?
Absolutely. And it helped for me at that age to control my environment. We used to rent buses and load the investors on the buses and have a general contractor at the home and ask local bank-owned agents to allow us to show a mass group the property. But I was controlling that environment. And I was 23 years old with 100 investors on a bus. Wow. So, but we had an amazing local contractor who now is one of my best friends today. She was just dynamic and would be able to explain to them what to do with the home. And it resulted into lifelong relationships. One of them we're helping, he has over 100 listings we're working on, handling all the buyers. And I've sold him 3 to 5 houses a month for the last 10 years. So, something like that and controlling your environment, like an open house, you're controlling your environment. They're coming to you. At that age, it was just a lot easier for us to just feel good about it. And
so let me ask you this. Okay, so you're killing it. Obviously, you get into your early 20s, you've got 100 investors on a bus. That's sick. That's awesome. Question I have is, at what point did you hire your first assistant? Because that's really the kind of the two biggest stepping stones, I think, in an agent's career, and the most challenging transition is going from tier 1 to tier 2. And really, that happens when you hire your first full-time assistant and your first 2 full-time buyer's agents. So when did that happen for you, and how did that happen?
24, when I hit 100,000. I am one of those people that the teacher had to hand me back my papers after I wrote them in school. So very bad handwriting and never slowed down enough to do paperwork. So I have always needed someone to kind of help operate me, to control my paperwork and keep me organized. So I knew after I had 3 to 5 transactions going on a month that I needed help.
That's huge. And so how did you go about hiring them? I mean, did you just hire somebody new? Did you get in the paper? Did you go, what did you do?
The first few, it was someone I knew, just a great friend I went to high school with. And, it was kind of a not temporary thing, kind of a transition. She was an organizational person who would handle my household bills as well as anything that I had to deal with, any transactions. And the second one was actually my stepsister, which was awesome. Probably about 1.5 years, she worked for me, and now she runs her own big preservation type company. And then the rest have been through Craigslist or other hiring sources. My current assistant has been with me for 7 years, and he's amazing.
Okay. That's huge. Guys, I don't want to dominate all the questions.
No, Christina, it sounds to me like you're in a market that has always been investor driven. Is the market, can you describe the market where you're at and explain to us why it's an investor area for so long through the years?
Well, that's been my niche. There's obviously having a large team. We have grown to so many different areas that we work and specialize in. But Tampa is just amazing for hot deals. From the turn of the market, in 2007 is when I started representing banks. I did 150 transactions in 2007, and then over 200 in 2008. So when people were struggling, we actually it was the best times for us prior to growing a team. So it allowed me to be able to stay investor driven because we had a large amount of inventory available for them.
So it's not like you live in an area that's
no.
Going to use just your niche. Okay, awesome.
Yes. Yep.
So when you look back to, I know this question is going to come up. When you look back to 2007, what do you recommend for other agents that want to get into working with investors? Because most of my agents, and I have close to 200 of them, they're worried to work with an investor because they feel the investor might be smarter than them sometimes. What do you recommend as far as training? What do you recommend as far as prospecting techniques? How do you find these investors? And then let's get into a little bit about the banks. How did you start working with the banks?
Well, we have local RIA groups here, which are investor type groups. And most of the big metropolitan and probably small areas, they have them. So that's where the investors, they go and, they get education, and, the wholesalers, they will sell their deals to other investors at these events. So personally, the ones I work with, I only have about 5 I work with personally. And most of them are licensed agents, which is crazy, but they use me for everything. And we just created loyalty up front. But for my team, it's, we require proof of funds right away. We let them know that we know the game, that if you're trying to double close a contract and your buyer doesn't perform, if you do not perform, we won't work with you anymore. So setting those expectations up front and making them know that you're not a novice, that you know how to evaluate a property, you know what the repairs are, because a lot of our newer agents and a lot of agents in general, they'll take an offer for an investor with a 10-day inspection period. Any great investor is going to know when they walk through that house. All of my investors have no inspection period. So they take a 10-day inspection offer, and then the investor comes back and says, oh, the roof needs to be replaced. I need it lowered $10,000. When it's evident the roof needs to be replaced. So letting them know expectations up front, that they're BS and the game, they believe in you a little bit more is at least my luck.
All right, you're hitting on a couple of things I want to know about. Number one, I love that as a young agent, you go out, you're working with investors, and that helps you get your career started. But I want to know, first and foremost, how are you finding the deals? How does this 19-year-old kid go out and start finding deals for these investors?
Well, in our market, we had a heavy concentrated of bank properties. So I had amazing relationships with some of the bank agents. And my client would normally pay me directly back then, where we had a commission agreement, and we'd give them both ends of the commission, as well as notice of defaults, divorce, lots of different things.
I get that. I want to know, how did you build those relationships with those agents that had the bank-owned properties? You're 19 years old. First of all, for a 19-year-old to figure this out is I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
My old business partner was one of the top real estate investors in Tampa. So that's how I started. I was selling his rehabs. So he already had those relationships, but he didn't quite figure out that, it's that relationship bonding. You're friendly, you become friendly with them. We'd go out for dinner, drinks, and just get to know them. But it was completely legit. They would, whenever one of our offers came through, they started seeing him and I together as partners, that allowed me, instead of him singularly, they liked me a lot better. So they would call me with the deals. So, it just worked out really well.
All right. And by the way, shout out to Tristan Ahamada. I see Tristan's on watching right now. It's good to see you, brother. You guys, don't forget, type your questions for Christina into your screen, into your, we're looking at the questions right now in two different spots. We're in the Club Wealth Real Estate Agent Mastermind group, and we're also following the questions on the Club Wealth. It's Michael Hellickson's Club Wealth Real Estate Coaching page is the name of it. So if you type your questions into either of those spots, we'll make sure that we get Christina to answer those live for you. So, all right, Christina, so you've got your assistant now, your first full-time assistant. You're working with all these investors. You're still 24 years old. How do you go from a 24-year-old kid with one investor making about $100,000 a year to all of a sudden now you've got 34 people on your team as of this morning?
Well, it was evolving. I built the bank-owned clients that I had, and the amount of leads that came through on those properties. I personally I was dealing with the task and making sure you make the banks happy. And then all of the leads would go into our office, and our manager would have agents there that had floor duty to help. So I went to a seminar, and everything clicked. I didn't have a CRM. I wanted to take control of my business, and I literally have just followed the blueprint to create a team since then. But it's been evolving. It was, I was very heavy on through the all of the foreclosures. I sometimes at the peak, I had about 385 assets at one time. So in 2013, I was diagnosed with uterine cancer. That's when I went to the event. It was kind of that pivotal aha moment where you knew something had to change. I wasn't happy with just one assistant and myself and people around me that I liked, but there was no synergy. So I just followed a blueprint to change that since now.
Okay, now go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. So, Christina, let me ask you a question then. If you could go back to the day you hired that first assistant and kind of just moving forward, because again, most people on our call are not going to have 34 people on their team. So I don't have 34, but I can tell you all kinds of stuff that I messed up over the years, and I'm not trying to. I think we learn often a lot from that. So as far as hiring your first assistant and maybe your first buyer's agent, if you would change about that, are there things you say, oh my gosh, if I know this now, because that's where so many people are who are going to be listening to this call. They're thinking about hiring that assistant, hiring that buyer's agent. What would you do differently? And what's that one piece of advice that you can give them as they move that direction?
I would have slowed down. I would have had a CRM. I didn't even know what a CRM was until 2013. The amount of transactions that I personally have sold have been several thousand. I have no drips, no follow-ups, no touches and relationships that I built besides my investor relationships and the people that already know, like, and trust me. So I would have slowed down and took control of my business early on. I didn't even, it just was nothing I knew even existed. And, still angers me today, but it is what it is. So, but take control, get a CRM that, it doesn't matter which one, just make sure you use it. We use Boomtown, and we love it. It's very involved for a big mega team. And, just every person you touch, put them into some type of system and touch them throughout the year. That's what I would have done differently.
So
that's awesome. Thank you.
How often are you doing that? How often are you touching your clients throughout the year?
Not enough. We're learning as coaching, and things evolve. So, our goal is 4 times a year after we sold them a property. Probably need to be doing it more, but we have effective drips through Boomtown that are put in place that reminds us to call them, text them, email them, sends them videos, and different email follow-ups. So, it's best to have a system because we're very high with hundreds of leads that come in on a weekly basis. And, you just have to make sure that you really, truly love on everybody you touch.
Awesome. Christine, I got a question for you. So I've coached REO agents all over the country ever since the market got better. Did your REO market slow down to where your assets were almost down to nothing? Is that kind of the wake up call where you said, wow, I need to build a team and get into retail? And the reason I ask is there's so many of you out there that did amazing through the recession. And now, I don't know your market well enough. Is it just something that came to you and you said, hey, wow, this retail thing is a really good idea, because you are taking a big leap into Club Wealth and getting into the retail world, and you're mentioning things that REO agents don't ever say, CRMs and touches and drip campaigns. I mean, I've coached these guys that made millions of dollars a year and they never even knew what a CRM was, kind of like you're saying. So
now they have no listings. That's what happened in my market.
No, they're working at Walmart now, and they used to make millions of dollars a year. So that's what I saved them from that. Yeah, that's real. Yeah.
Well, in 2013, when I, went to the event and it was that pivotal, I need to develop a team. I was blessed to still have several hundred REOs at one time. So now we are at our slowest because the market is changing, and we have about 70 assets. But I have definitely reinvented every single REO. We do aerials and professional photos. I'm the only one in the market that on a $60,000 HUD home does professional photos. So there's things that our asset managers are looking for now that they weren't looking for then. And it shows in my inventory versus my competitors that have 3 and 4 listings. I send them all of our marketing and they love it. They Facebook analytics, everything. So, I feel like me changing and evolving has allowed me to keep my current clients and add new ones.
That's amazing. Brandon, I need that clip edited out of this, because, that's what I try to tell the REO agents all the time. The asset managers are just like normal sellers. They want to know that you're working hard for them. But my question now is, are you getting retail listings from your area? Because people still think you're awesome and they don't know you're an REO agent. They just think you're a really kick butt agent that controls a lot of the inventory. I mean, that's got to be a major shift and a major accomplishment for you and your team. And it must feel really good to know you're diversified, and no matter what the market is, whether it's up, down, stable, whatnot. I think that's absolutely amazing that you're doing that.
Well, when they go to Zillow, they see over 3,000 solds, and we have about 80 listings right now. When a seller's looking at it, they don't automatically think, oh, there's a bunch of bank-owned properties in there. So what we're doing is when they need to sell their property, a condo community in our area, I've had about 7 REOs. But now all of the retail listings are coming in because they see professional photos. They don't see crappy photos on our marketing, and they call because we have low days on market because it's an REO and they normally sell quicker. But they see all of these things that make us look amazing, and I just push the service. Traditional listings get serviced the same way. The REOs get serviced the same as the traditional, and it's helping a lot. We're doing circle dialing, and just listed the listing power tools where we're putting door hangers out. There's no other REO agent that I'm aware of that's doing that.
Not on the planet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I know this.
Let me ask this.
Go ahead, Mike. All right. I was just going to say, with the amount of, I can't imagine. I mean, when I was into REO, the most assets I ever had was like 50. So that's a lot to me. And now you're still above at 70. So I can only imagine the amount of phone calls that you're fielding and the amount of listing opportunities on your team now. Are you doing any of the listings, or is that all delegated out to your listing agents?
Some of the listings I am doing, those are the ones that will only work with me. And we get a handful of them. I have 4 of them currently right now, but I do have six that are amazing at converting listings. And as my team grows and their success and their ability to convert listings grows, I bring them in, and we do partner. I like to have more than one of us on a listing when I'm involved, because I am pulled in so many different directions. I don't want to mess up service level.
No, great. All right, Michael, I'm sorry to hog it. I'm just fascinated by her.
No, I am too. There's a lot of people that are watching today that are actually REO agents as well. But for those that aren't, whether you are an REO agent or you're not an REO agent, I think one of the takeaways I'm getting from what you're saying, Christina, is that, hey, look, I always market my properties the same. It doesn't matter if it's an REO or retail, traditional. Doesn't matter if it's a short sale. Doesn't matter what price point it's at. It could be 60,000, could be 100,000, could be $1 million. I'm marketing my properties the way a property should be marketed, regardless of price point, regardless of disposition.
Absolutely.
And because of that, you have a very consistent brand in the marketplace where people understand that, hey, look, when Christina lists a property, you're getting first-class marketing. It's world-class all the way or nothing at all. So I think that has a lot to do with your success. One of the other things, and I'm fortunate, and I'll just call it what it is. I get to be Christina's coach now. I'm very excited about that. I've been your coach for a little while now, and I do want to say shout out to Tom Ferry, and he had a big role in you getting where you're at. You had coached with him for a long time. Tell me about when you started coaching, whether it was Tom or with anybody else, and how that helped you grow your business, because I know that you and I talked earlier about how big an impact that had on your ability to grow.
It's having accountability. And if you are not 110% invested in coaching, don't waste your money. I wanted it. Everything I was told to do, I followed for the most part. Some things I'm a little stubborn in. So, just having that blueprint that, when you look at, okay, you have 7 buyer's agents, you should be putting this much into advertising, as you grow, being able to have a blueprint to tell you, because our brokerages don't tell us those things for the most part. They're not telling us, you need to get a CRM or you need to have, a marketing person that takes care of all your social media. So having a blueprint and being able to follow it has helped quite a bit. And I dived.
So let's talk about that. Okay, and that was really where I was going next. Is okay, so it's great. We can give people a blueprint and say, okay, here's exactly what you need to do, but it's not enough. You have to dive in all the way. You have to be absolutely completely engaged in that process and say, look, if that's what works and you say I got to go do that, then I'm going to go do it. And I'm not going to come up with excuse after excuse. And I'm not going to blame it on the leads, or I'm not going to blame it on, my spouse or my whatever circumstance is keeping people from success. You literally take responsibility on yourself and you say, look, okay, if that's what I need to do, I'm just going to go do it. And that brings me to my next question, which is, do you live by a perfect daily schedule or at any point during this time? Because when you get to your level, you can be a little loosey-goosey with your schedule, and it's not the end of the world, right? Because you've built all the team, you've done all the hard, heavy lifting, and you've gotten it to where you are. But during your growth period, during the time that you were building this team, did you live by some kind of a perfect daily schedule?
I still do. I'm very involved in my family. Every single night we're eating dinner together. So at 6:00 every morning, I am up and dressed and dropping my daughter off at the high school at 7:30 in the morning. And I start my day with a hot cup of black coffee at Starbucks for about an hour and a half. I love the culture. The atmosphere is so much better than an office. And I do probably spend 3 to 4 hours a day at some random Starbucks, sometimes multiple times a day. But I absolutely do. The quiet time in the morning helps for me. And now I schedule absolutely everything. We actually, for the team, bought Ultimate Planner, which is just for real estate agents. And it's helped things on, an immense level.
Good stuff. I love it.
Hey, Christina.
Brian.
So a couple of questions I have for you then. I love that I'm hearing some accountability stuff for your team. I'm not sure what Ultimate Planner is, but I can kind of get a grasp of what it might be. So one of the things I see as a real estate coach over and over and over again is what people struggle with, in my opinion, is leadership. Everybody wants to have a team, because if I have a team, then I create more time for myself and everything gets easier and faster and stronger and leverage. But what I also don't see enough of is that we have leadership. So if you don't mind, if you had to tell someone who was building a team, what were the leadership things that you have to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that a lot of people probably don't think about?
First of all, I truly love and care for my team on a personal level and their success. And I've seen that most team leaders, they fail or it doesn't get to a level that they want as quick because they're just a buyer's agent to them. So I really, truly love every single one that I allow into our culture. And we have an incredible culture. The leadership I've had to learn the hard way, because I am busy. So we have every single week, we have a certain day that I am in the office and we're focusing on some aspect. I always try and have it where I'm available at any time. And I try my best to answer every single phone call that comes through, but just supporting them and helping guide them in the right direction and helping them, have all the tools available. Also, my manager with Coldwell Banker, Scott Humphreys, he's a huge help. He's in the office all the time. So if they have a contract question or if they, anything like a lot of teams I've seen, they have to hire a manager. I already have one. So he helps them, with some of the daily issues that I don't need to get involved in. My job is to love on them, support them, and help them focus and make more money.
Gotcha.
So are you doing daily morning huddles, as we call them, or are you doing anything like that?
Well, my amazing coach,
who's your new coach?
Mr. Hellickson, for this morning we worked out a game plan. So we are starting those on Monday. Already put it in our team Facebook group. That's also helped our culture a lot. We have a Facebook group, so it's private. If someone needs help with a showing or has a question, no matter the time, they're posting in there. So we're going to start doing that every day.
And here's the thing, that team huddle, Brian, and I know why you're bringing this up, because the team huddle really is a game changer in terms of team culture, especially as you start to expand out. And Christina, I know you're starting to bring in buyer's agents from areas that are a little bit further away from the home office. Yeah. And, doing that team huddle on a daily basis not only helps your local folks, but it helps everybody on your team to really feel like a full and complete part of the team. And that's important because the further you get spread out, the more difficult it is to maintain that culture that's gotten you where you are to begin with. So I'm really glad to hear that you're going to be implementing that. I know several people on your team we've had conversations with have been very excited about that beginning. By the way, Bjorkman, you guys, and Brian, why don't you guys, while we're on the topic of team huddle, tell everybody what that is and tell everybody what you guys are doing for your team huddles and how that's made a difference in your businesses.
Go ahead, Brian. You're the master at the huddle.
I'm the master. Okay. Well, so for us, the team huddle is basically how we start our day. And I've been listening to a lot of different stuff. I listen to read books and try and stay touched into what people are doing in other sales organizations. And for whatever reason in real estate, we decided that, and I heard you say this indirectly, that you see this happen too, Christina, is I hired a buyer's agent and I should just be collecting 50% of their check and they're just going to show up, for closings, and then I get a check and it's going to be great. But that's not what happens. So our daily huddle's about a couple of things. I kind of make a joke. If anyone on my team's watching, they already know me. They've heard me say this. The first thing is I know they're awake. And, that sounds kind of agent. Call your average real estate agent at 9 o'clock in the morning. So at least a 50% chance you're going to get a hold of them. I'm kidding, but ultimately, I'm pretty sure some of my people get up at 7:29, but I also know that some of them are ready and raring to go. Either way, we've got that accountability. The second thing is, I was talking to a client about this yesterday, is we know for sure yesterday and what they're going to do today. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but when we put it out there in the world that says, hey, I'm going to make 30 phone calls today, I'm going to make at least X number of contacts, I'm going to show X number of houses. It's an accountability, and when I say that out loud, it becomes twice as important to me, and it becomes twice as important to everybody else. The other thing I love about that is if you're a guy who gets on the morning huddle and say I made 7 phone calls yesterday, and then somebody else comes and said I made 82. Well, it's real hard to say that you're doing a great job, and I wonder why that guy's doing better than me. Well, it does take rocket science to figure that out. The other thing I love is that, unlike you, Christina, I don't have the availability, and God bless you for doing it, but I tell people if it can wait to the morning huddle, call me then. Now, if it's a crisis, something's going on with our team, absolutely call me. I will find a way to make it happen. But, I'm on the phone 5 to 6 hours a day in between clients and coaching and all the other things that we do. You're not going to be able to catch me 24 hours a day. It just doesn't happen. So when they know that in the morning that they've got me. And the other thing they've got is our transaction coordinators. So instead of calling my transaction coordinator 5, 6, 7 times a day, we handle that all in the morning. We know that task switching costs people 11 minutes every single time they task switch. Transaction coordinators are task switching constantly. Just by the nature of their business, we don't have to make them do it even more. So to me, that's what a morning huddle is all about. It's just to get the day started right and know that everyone's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I got to jump on that. Yeah. Task switching costs an average of 11 minutes. You guys, I really want everybody to hear that, because that is a very big deal. Everybody says, oh, I multitask. Look, there's no such thing as multitasking. Quit saying it. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as multitasking. And every time you interrupt what you're doing to jump to the next task, it costs you 11 minutes. So quit. All these interruptions we're giving our teams, I'm speaking to every team leader out there and every member of a team. Every time you interrupt somebody else on the team, not only is it taking your time, it's taking 11 minutes of their time, plus the actual number of minutes that you're talking about whatever the topic is. So to be able to have that conversation, to be able to consistently tell them, hey, look, is there any reason why this can't wait until tomorrow's daily huddle? That's powerful, and that's going to make everybody more effective. So, Christina, I'm really looking forward to hearing your feedback on how it goes, and we know you're starting on Monday.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to big things out of your team when you start implementing a daily huddle. Mike, how about you? Talk to us about your huddles.
Obviously, I'm not in the production anymore like Tammy is, and Tammy runs the daily huddles. But exactly what you guys said, when I was involved day to day in the business, the clients and the agents alone were trained to call me. But now that Tammy's running that huddle and they do wait for the huddle, my transaction coordinator and Tammy pretty much handle everything. They work through all their problems. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, are we really slow? Is this too good to be true? Are things falling through the cracks? I mean, that daily huddle is actually working so well that I'm blown away. I honestly know that Tammy, if she's watching right now, probably is. She hates the daily huddle because it slows her day down. But the reality is it helps all of our day. And these people really do wait until the huddle, and they actually don't bug me anymore because they know that during that daily huddle with all 8 or 10 of them, whoever's on the call that day, they can get it handled. And sometimes they even have the lender on the call, so they can get that handled as well with our escrow officer. So I love that daily huddle. But I need to switch this real quick back to interviewing Christina, because I don't want to forget all my questions that I have. I know, Christina, that you live by the beach, and that's an area where I want to live, and I'm going to come be your buyer's agent soon. Specifically, Clearwater, Florida is one of my favorite places on earth, and then stretch of miles, 10, 15, 20 miles down south of Clearwater. How much do you get into that beach property? How much do you get into the luxury side of things? Is that just too far from Tarpon Springs? You're at Tarpon, right?
I live in Trinity, which is about 10 minutes from Tarpon. Our office is in South Tampa, Hyde Park area.
Okay, so you have to drive by luxury to get to work.
Yes.
So how much of that do you do? If you're doing the drone, you're doing the aerials, you're doing all the good marketing, you have to be dealing with these investors that live in the luxury area. What part of your diversity, which is what I'm fascinated by, is luxury or beach property right now?
Because a large amount of our team is out of Hillsborough County in Tampa, our luxury is more the South Tampa region, Bayshore, not right on the beach. We are recruiting agents that are more in that area. I do actually get some REOs, foreclosures in that market. But it's unfortunately, it's not a focus I'd love to get into. We just are focusing on more luxury that is around our office.
Gotcha. What is the luxury price range in there? 750, 800, something like that?
Yeah. We anywhere between like 500 and $1 million is a good, the sweet spot's probably about 700. I do personally, we do close a lot of on the beach condos, but we haven't got into the single family houses. They have to be priced. There's a lot of competition. A lot of people are trying to sell them right now. The condos go super fast though, that are right on the beach.
Why is there a lot of competition for that area right now and the beach homes? Is the market going down there, or is it? No,
the inventory is a little higher in the high price properties, so they do sit on the market a little bit longer in our area.
Interesting. All right,
So you just have to make sure it's priced and marketed correctly. So, it's definitely something we're transitioning to do more of, but our sweet spot's probably about 500 to 700,000 right now on our higher end.
Gotcha. So you're going to listing agent boot camp, right?
I am.
So you're gonna need to pay attention and learn a lot about that. I'm sure Michael has a luxury section planned or something similar to that, because that is, as me looking from Los Angeles to you, I mean, man, what a great opportunity with all you have, all your resources, your team. I mean, I would really take advantage of that. And
one of our team, her name's Alexandra Cash. Her father is a NLB player. It was one, and her brother. So she's bringing a lot of those clients in, and going on listing appointments with NFL players. So that's definitely a focus we'd like to get better and improve at.
Yeah, I know Vince, our courier, friend over there, is doing that. Yeah. So that works.
Yeah.
Well, and what we'll do, Christina, at some point we'll make sure we get you involved in one of our luxury masterminds. We'll want you to come out and really do. What we'll do is we'll do a mastermind with just agents that are focused on luxury listings and that are working with pro athletes, those types of things. Anybody that's watching this, if you're doing a lot of luxury and you're at a level in your luxury business where you feel like you'd be a fit for a mastermind like that, like just a 25 agent, hyper focused, everybody's doing luxury in that group type mastermind, reach out to us. You can comment on the thread here. We'll reach out to you and we'll put that together. That being said, in terms of listing agent bootcamp, I know you dropped that there a second ago, Mike. Listing Agent Bootcamp, for those of you that aren't already signed up for it, just know it is almost sold out. We've literally got like 8 seats left. And so if you don't get signed up in the next day or two, it ain't going to happen for you. You're going to have to just, read about it on Facebook and wish you were there. And no, we're not going to be live streaming it or anything like that. So if you want the info, you got to get there. And I'm telling you, we're sharing some lead sources at that thing that we've never publicly shared before that are killing it for several of our agents. And so you're going to want to be there for that. So to check that out, go to clubwealth.com/listing agent bootcamp. Again, it's clubwealth.com/listing agent bootcamp. Now, Christina, what I want to know from you is talk to us about lead sources that you're using that are non-REO. What are some lead sources you're having good success with? Stuff that people can implement right now.
So a lot of REO agents and a lot of agents in general, they don't realize that their solds don't feed into Zillow. So we manually feed all of our solds in there and have a very just strong profile. So we spend a great deal of money on Zillow. We have Boomtown, and we do tons of social media.
Okay, so talk to us about Boomtown for a second. We do a lot of talking about Commissions Inc. We love Commissions Inc. Boomtown's a great platform as well. So what does it cost you guys to be on Boomtown? And you're a big team, so you're going to probably be paying a lot more than most. But what do you know about their pricing, and what does it do for you? Like, what do you get out of Boomtown?
So I believe the platform starts at $1,500, and then you have to add ad spend on it. We do have lender help and participation as well, which is great. What Boomtown does for us is each agent has their own website. So it's firstname.thegriffingroup.net. It is a website that when you click on the website, after about 30 seconds, you have to put in your contact info. So it captures everybody. As well as on Facebook, we're able to share like our properties on Facebook, and it tracks all the analytics. So if they click on the property through Facebook and sign up, we know that it was from that campaign. The drips they're behavioral analytic drips. So based upon their activity on the drip, if they've been on our website within a certain amount of days, they get a certain email. If not, they get another one. So it flows based upon their behavior, which I like quite a bit. And it's just very user friendly. It's a great CRM platform.
Okay, so what's the one thing you would say if somebody's not using Boomtown? Maybe they can't afford a Boomtown yet. So how can they get something similar, or how can they get the same kind of traction that you're getting? Because you're using Boomtown a lot for your social media as well, right? Mm-hmm. So how can people that aren't ready to buy that yet, how can they get traction on social media and get actual leads, not just engagement with people saying, yeah, that's a great picture of your kid's birthday. How do we get real business out of Facebook?
Well, I feel like a lot of agents that I speak to, when you don't have a website that captures the data after the person clicks on the link from Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or any other platform. So I would just make sure whatever site or CRM or link that you have does that capture feature where you can capture their information and you see how many people, well, you can see how many people click, but you actually are capturing their data and you're able to call them right away.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I'm not familiar with I'm not familiar with a lot of the other programs. We used Top Producer before, but I've heard a lot of good things about other programs. So you'd be better at that.
So that's interesting. You started off with Top Producer. By the way, I did too. I used it for 15 years and had great success with it. Shout out to those guys. And by the way, anybody that wants to give Top Producer a look, it's topproducerdeal.com. You can get it for not a lot. It's like $30 a month. It's cheap. But so you use that to get started then and then transitioned into Boomtown at some point.
Yep, about a year and a half ago.
What about recruiting? What are you doing to recruit?
So believe it or not, I don't really recruit on a heavy level. They come to me. I am involved in a lot of realtor groups. There's one here called Become a Better Agent. It's a local title company. Every month, he offers an educational type event for other agents to come in and learn. And just being there, adding value, engaging on local Facebook groups and just sharing and not being afraid to share. People come and it's like, we recruit, a top producer and, people, they pay attention to that and they look at what are you doing and, tell me about it.
Okay. Mike, you look like you're getting ready to say something.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously we have a really hard time recruiting here. So if we're going to have 30 agents, what do you promise the agents on your team? If you come join the Griffin Group, what am I going to get?
So we offer coaching tools. We offer Boomtown. We offer, from Vulcan to Z Buyer to it leads, but they have to be involved. They have to take the Boomtown training. We do daily accountability. So we just spell out all of our tools, our culture, our support. We have a full-time marketing coordinator, and the leads are a privilege. So if they don't do the daily accountability and they are actually call, text, email, drip campaigns in Boomtown, they don't get the leads or we pause the leads. So I really think it's our culture and everything that, the business and the large amount of leads, that attracts them in and the culture keeps them staying.
All right, that's awesome. So we're at that 10-minute mark, Michael. It's time to ask for some audience participation. You guys have, the number 2 Coldwell banker agent in the country on the line. You might want to type in some questions, anything about REO, anything about investors, anything about whatever you want to know, I suppose, how to do hundreds of deals a year. But while we're waiting for some questions to be typed in, Christina, can you tell me a little bit about your marketing coordinator? I mean, with a team like that and that many listings, what does your marketing team consist of? I mean, that must be 2-3 full-time people banging out.
No, we have one. We're blessed with Coldwell Banker. We get a lot of marketing support. Mina is amazing. He is all of our social media. He does all of our business cards and flyers for open houses, and we use listing power tools. I love them. It's a huge pack of just goodies for each house that the team gets to go and put door hangers and flyers and business cards and everything that are property specific. So as we have grown, we do need additional support, but Mina's just a rock star and he handles it all right now.
Man,
I actually got to have a call from him. He's a smart guy. Go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
Yes.
No, that's just it. We have our team is only half the size of yours and we have so many issues with marketing. It's ridiculous. Can you explain listing power tools a little bit more? And are you telling me your team is actually going out and hanging door hangers and not just waiting for Boomtown leads to fall into their laps?
Correct.
Wow. What kind of magic potion do you feed these people?
So I actually, I have my kids are in high school. So I have a few high school kids that some of the properties, they will populate the neighborhoods. But listing power tools, it's $39.95 for this huge box full of door hangers and there's so much stuff in there that honestly, we run out of places to put them. Like we will populate a Publix parking lot with these little business card sizes of the house. And it's a text number that they get the information about the property and we capture their data. So it's great. We bring it into listings with us and, so it's just a great resource and it looks professional and they're getting ready to launch. They're more personalized. Now it's yellow and black. The yellow, I think it's the eye traction, why we get a lot of calls with it, but they're going to have like 10 colors and more customized features here soon.
Sounds like an affiliate for listing boot camp.
Yeah, we need to have that conversation with LPT.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
It's pretty powerful and it's helped us.
Yeah. Well, and so moving to a slightly different topic, one of the questions I have for you is, what's next? What's your plan in the next? Where does the Griffin Group go from here? I mean, geez, you've already got 34 people on your team. You're going to be over 40 people here in the next couple of weeks. Tell us, where are you going next?
I'd like to expand. Our market, we're in Tampa, but there's a lot of surrounding counties that overlap. So I'd like to expand and bring people that are going to help and contribute to our culture so we can also support the surrounding counties. And I want to be the real estate team that's involved in things like, more local, grassroots, involved in our community. I do a lot of tons of charity work and, just give back to our community and love on our community and just support them as much as we can. And, be the one on the back of a, Little League t-shirt instead of, sponsoring maybe a major sports team, just being more grassroots.
Love it.
I mean, let's be real here, and agents watching this, write this down. Diversity is the very most important thing in real estate, and we have somebody online today that doesn't have to do all this stuff. So if we look back and pay attention, she's actually talked about several different things. She has an investor niche. She has an REO niche. She's using social media. She's using technology. She's buying leads, and now she's heavily involved in the community. You cannot find a more diversified market plan than that. That market plan right there is a nonstop growth path. That is the most diversified path for everlasting through any market, building all kinds of other income streams from that. I mean, you, Christina, I got to take my hat off and just wave it at you. I mean, you're doing the right stuff. And I had to point that out because agents, these are the things that really matter: the social media, the community involvement, the REO, the investors. And it's just amazing.
Some of our team, they represent builders. We're very diversified in many different levels as well. We also have 11 different languages. In addition, four of them speak Spanish. So we have 15 people on our team that are bilingual as well.
Man.
Well, Christina, that's absolutely amazing. But let me say this, and I love what Mike said, but I can tell you that there's probably people out there going, I didn't even know there was, 11 different languages, let alone employing 11 different people who can be bilingual on my team. So the one thing I heard as you went through this is you're doing all of these things, but it feels to me like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you have mastery in a lot of different things. But I don't know how old you are, and I'm not going to ask, but you've been doing this since you were 19. So it's not
37.
Okay. So, so that's a lot of years to be doing real estate. And what I mean by that is you didn't wake up one day and become the master of REO, the master of, you did one thing at a time. You got really good at it and moved on to the next. And so for all those people who are out there looking at it and going, I can never do what Christina does. She didn't do it in a day. She didn't do it in an hour. She didn't do it in a year.
I don't go to bed until it's done. I really, There's been days I fell asleep on my computer doing BPOs. So if you have the desire inside you to be successful, whether you're a team leader or, single agent or with a team, you just have to set a plan and a blueprint. Coaching's helped me do that and not go to bed until you accomplish your goals every day.
That's awesome.
One of the, speaking of coaching, Christine, I'm curious, why Club Wealth? Why did you make the switch to Club Wealth? This is a big question I think a lot of people are asking. I know when you made the move, there was a big rumbling in the community, and a lot of people want to know, why did you move to Club Wealth?
My team and the level I believe that we're at, I wanted someone that actually sold more properties than I have, and having the support at 10 o'clock at night, I can text my coach or Facebook, and I get responses, and having I almost feel like I hired a team of people, like almost a manager of me and our team to help and support us. So it's not just coaching for 30 minutes and you check in and then they don't talk to you in between. It's just ongoing support. So it's been great so far.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
We got a couple questions before we have to end this. There's been several people that have asked, Christina, what's the percentage wheel of your business, REO versus short sales versus retail? What does that look like?
REO is about 30% right now. Short sales probably about 10 to 15, and the rest is traditional.
Okay, so that is a very healthy wheel. Perfect. So you guys listening, don't try to get all caught up in REO, because any more than 30%, your business is definitely going to fluctuate too much as the market changes. That's awesome. And then there's another question here. Dana asks, how many hours a day does the team make calls?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, good question. You know what? I'm probably a little bit too flexible on that. I require them to call all the leads that they're given, and we have accountability with that. But I'd say it's hard to, maybe an hour or so a day that I know of. So we'll get better at that as we evolve. But right now, what I require is them to actually make sure that the leads that we provide them are called back. And depending on the agent, they're getting probably between 2 and 6 leads a day.
That's a pretty good problem to have, right, guys?
Yeah.
We have so many leads that I'm just desperate to know they're calling them back.
Too. When you start working on that team huddle on a regular basis, you're going to see a lot of that change and transition into people are going to be making more calls. They're going to be held accountable at a higher level, and they're going to like it, right? It's not going to be this, I'm going to keep you under my thumb thing. It's going to be more of a, look, hey, how can we help? And we're, like Mike said earlier, they're going to hear about, somebody else is making 85 calls a day, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, if he can do it, I can do it, right? Yep. And so I'm excited about that. So let's do this. We've got to wrap up. We're on the hour. So here's what we're going to do. I want to get final parting thoughts from each one of you. We're going to start with Brian, and just give us your what are your biggest takeaways from the call today with Christina? And we're going to go each one of you. Brian, go ahead.
I think my biggest takeaway is that you can have whatever you want. And, when I look at what Christina's built, it's absolutely amazing. And it's not about just doing one thing. And, you just do the one thing and you do the next thing, you do the next thing, and you can build an amazing business. And I love this word. I heard you say it no less than 10 times, culture. So we're big about that too. And culture is everything when you're building any sort of organization. And I think it's absolutely amazing for all those people out there who are building a team. Start with your culture first, because if you don't have a great culture, none of the rest of it matters. So thanks so much, Christina.
Thank you.
Love it. Mike?
Well, gosh, it'd take me an hour to do my final thoughts, but I want to tag on what he said. I have so many agents that come to me and say, I just don't have the resources. I just don't have whatever. And you're living proof that any agent can be super successful. I came from tomato soup and stealing beers out of my friends' garages when I was 18, trying to get into this business. And I know it works, but it's so nice and so refreshing to hear other people's stories. And, I commend you. And then I guess my second biggest takeaway is, man, diversity is where it's at, guys. If there's somebody to watch and follow on Facebook, and everybody listening, if you're not part of Club Wealth, it's very nice to be around people like Christine. I got to be with her in Anaheim for quite a long time and spend some time, and just the people and the culture that we've created in Club Wealth is absolutely amazing. So I invite all you guys to join that culture. And Christina, thank you so much. And I definitely will see you in Florida very soon.
That'd be great.
Love it. Love it. All right. And then my biggest takeaway, and actually tons of takeaways, but one of my reminders is it doesn't matter how old you are in this business, you guys, you can be successful. So the key is don't let your age, don't let your situation, don't let anything about your world cause you to have an excuse not to succeed. You can succeed regardless of your station in life. And Christina, you are absolutely living proof that you can start at a very, very young age, be instantly successful, or be very quickly successful and carry that success on through the years. By the way, Brandon, we've got a little bit of a background noise. I'm not sure whose microphone that's on, but if you could isolate that and mute that out. So Christina, parting thoughts from you, but as we wrap up.
Love on your team. Don't make it all about you. Support them, provide them the tools and the things that they need to be successful. And if you are there and you're sincere and you really, truly want them to just succeed, it's going to reflect in the community and people are going to be attracted to you, buyers, sellers, and agents.
Yep.
And you can't have it all. I've got 3 kids and an awesome husband. And, I always tell everyone it's God, my husband, my family, and my team.
That's awesome.
So thanks for having me.
Right. Well, everybody, thank you very, very much, Christina. We really appreciate you coming on with us today and taking your time out of your day to share all this great information with us. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Christina, how would we get a hold of you?
Facebook is wonderful. I have an open profile. So Christina Griffin on Facebook, our Facebook for our team, if you'd like to see how some of our marketing is Griffin Group and thegriffingroup.net. If you call me, please text me because I have an answering service. They pick up after 3 rings and a lot of gatekeepers. So 813-389-1847.
I love it. Fantastic. Thank you very, very much. You guys reach out to Christina. Thank you all for being on Club Wealth TV today. I see we got a lot of people that are watching, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this out as a replay as well. We'll post it on the Facebook group, and we'll post it on the Club Wealth real estate coaching and consulting page. So for everybody here on Club Wealth TV, my name is Michael Hellickson, one of the coaches at Club Wealth. We appreciate you being here. Remember, you are world class.